Hello everyone. Welcome to the next edition of Language Talks. Welcome to the show, Aditi.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me to this forum.
You're welcome. Looking forward to knowing more about your initiatives.
Thank you so much. Looking forward to this.
Aditi, you're the founder director of Oriental Dialogue.
Yes.
So can you tell us more about it?
Yes. So Oriental Dialogue is actually a language school, and we teach East Asian languages like Mandarin, Chinese, Japanese, Korean. We also do the other languages, the Occidental languages, but they are generally for corporate training.
Okay.
Yes. And
so,
we started.
Yeah, just before we go ahead, what is the difference between Mandarin and Chinese? They're both Chinese, right?
Yes, so it's like having, you're saying Indian languages. So I don't say I speak Indian because there are many Indian languages like Tamil or Hindi or Marathi or whatever. So similarly, you have Mandarin Chinese, which is like Hindi mostly spoken, and Cantonese is like spoken in the southern China. So these are two main languages, but then there are many languages in India. So in China, sorry. So China is thrice the size of India. So the number of languages are also almost thrice the size of languages that in India.
Okay. So, but all those languages have the same script. Chinese.
Correct. So they are actually dialects. Now you pointed it out right. So the difference between a language and a dialect is that languages are backed with literature and culture. So these are actually dialects of the Chinese language, where the script is the same, literature is almost common.
Okay.
And so you can't call them languages, you can call them dialects. So there are a lot of dialects in the language.
I see. Okay.
And Mandarin actually was a mandatory language that was, that is spoken all across China. So these people, after I think the 1950s, in schools also introduced Mandarin as the medium of learning. So everybody you see of our age who is educated speaks Mandarin, like we speak English or like whatever the medium is.
The local language. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Thanks. Like you mentioned that Occidental languages are not taught in your school as such, but you use it for corporate training.
Yeah,
so my next question was that do you also teach other languages beyond the East Asian ones?
So currently in the class we're teaching Mandarin, Chinese, Japanese and Korean. That's purely for the admin purpose right now because we set this up last year. And still, sort of managing the whole place and everything. So we're just doing these three languages for now. But yeah, we plan to start maybe German, French, and Italian. So we have everything in place for Italian. All of these we've been taking corporate sessions because you have a group who comes to us and says, "All right, we need a batch like this." So we have a batch ready. Then it's easy. Finding people, doing all the marketing does take a lot of time. And so yes, that was it.
Okay, great. So what is the difference between teaching Mandarin or Japanese, Korean in a language school like your Oriental Dialogue and a corporate training?
So in corporate trainings, you have specific requirements. So either that group is traveling to China, or whichever place, Japan or Korea, or then they're just on phone calls with their Chinese clients, or sometimes they are a set of engineers who are working on a machinery as such. So in that case, then we sort of start. Work around that kind of vocabulary. So instead of saying, okay, I have a dog and a cat at home. So instead of teaching these things, which are typically, in language textbooks, you have those kind of things. Yes. We don't do that. Then I'll say, okay, I want a ball bearing, or you want whatever the requirement. So it's okay. Whether you're learning a word for a cat or a dog or a ball bearing really doesn't matter to us. It's almost the same effort that they're doing. So,
okay.
Yes.
So
Yes.
Okay. Great. You said you started your career or teaching with short duration workshops. So why short duration workshops? How did you decide to do that?
Yes. So what happened was, so we started off in 2012. And at that time, there were many people who were businessmen who kept traveling to China. Now also, as soon as the Chinese thing is open, people have just started going there. Because, the business is such, you have to go there, look at things. So when they go there, one of the biggest problems was interacting with clients, making them happy. Whoever the client was, the buyer or the seller, it depends. Because we also export a lot of things to China, not just import. So then they have to sort of impress the other people. Secondly, they have to even call the other person's name properly, right? That's one, because when you have an X coming, people don't know how to pronounce it. Or a Z coming, people don't know how to pronounce it. Thirdly, when they would stay in a different address, you have to read the address out properly to reach that place. So these were basic requirements of people. They didn't want to go for a 150-hour course in some university to do this. And this was a secondary requirement that they had. It was not a primary thing. If you don't take the exam, then you're not eligible for anything. So this was a 16-hour course. I mean, it's a 16-hour course. We did it on the weekends for 4 hours. So Saturday 4 hours, Sunday 4 hours, Saturday 4 hours, Sunday 4 hours. So that makes it 16 hours.
Right.
And you would interact because everybody in the workshop would be going or coming from China. So there was a lot of business interaction also. So that was the reason we started these workshops. Later on, their children wanted to learn the language and like a long-term language. So then that's why we started these classes.
I see. That is interesting. So these were not for these courses or the short workshops were not focused on the examination as such from that point of view, right?
Yes. I don't think actually any language learning should be very exam focused. Exams should come later. Like first the language should be learned. Exams happen and every exam has a duration. Say 150 hours for N5 of Japanese or 60 hours for HSK or whatever that is. So, but you have to really learn the language from the point of view of the language first. Then at one point you feel ready for the exam. At that time you should just see that, okay, am I able to solve this paper? If I am, then I should go and take the exam. So it shouldn't be like, okay, from the first day I start preparing for HSK. Because then what happens, you're only learning the vocabulary for HSK. You're not looking beyond the language. And if you don't do that, it doesn't fuel you to the first interest that you create for the language actually fuels you to a level 4 or a level 5.
Correct.
Otherwise then, by the end of HSK 1 ho gaya, HSK 2 ho gaya. So that's not the approach. Should not be the approach.
Okay. So, but do your courses also prepare students for the international exams? Like HSK you mentioned just now?
Yes. So it takes the path of the exam, but it's not in the race of the exam I have to reach there first. It's not about, just studying the vocabulary of the language. The path is right. You're learning the right kind of phrases. What happens is to some students, when I say, okay, I want water, they know how to say that sentence. But if I want to say, okay, I want water in a glass, right? I can't make that sentence because they don't know. They know the word for the glass, they know the word for water, they know the word for want, but they can't put that together because they have not, experienced the language or felt the language.
Right.
Yeah, so that's what happens. Yes.
Just an interesting question came to my mind. So do you think the awareness or the interest for learning these Asian languages or East Asian languages has taken momentum since the cartoons came up?
Yes, actually more than that, it's about, I don't know, somehow in the industry, what I feel is it's like Baju wale ka ladka, which language is he learning? Which language is the neighbor's son learning? So somehow people take up. So for German, for example, German had a very early start in Pune. It's been more than 105 years now.
Yes.
And so then that, of course, my grandfather had German in his college days. So yeah, that's like a thing. Japanese Mandarin came very late. But a lot of people have started traveling, and now that they've started traveling, they are seeing the amount of money that the East Asians have, and the kind of the power that they have, or all of these things. Till now it was unknown. And when we think of foreign, it's always the Western world that we're thinking of somehow. We never are looking at the Eastern world. So now things are changing that way, so perspective. So that neighboring boy is studying Japanese, and that's why I've taken up Japanese. So that's why.
That is the answer. Okay. Great. Now you also have other language courses like Speak Marathi, Speak Sanskrit, Speak Hindi. So tell us about them one by one.
Yes. So Speak Marathi is my pet project, and we started it. I started in 2020. Because it was one time when we were connecting with a lot of our cousins and relatives and all of that, and a lot of friends also. So what I realized is, people can't speak Marathi outside India, and even if they want to learn the language, the process is made so difficult that they quit learning the language. They say, no, I can't do this. Secondly, there is a lot of opposition from the family side also. Pressure come opposition. Marathi, that kind of a thing. So you don't speak Marathi. And then thirdly, when you say a lot of things wrong, people laugh at you. So that sort of discourages. Marathi was, for one given point of time, the 10th most spoken language in the world, like you can Wikipedia that. And the Marathi population is decreasing in a very fast manner, just because people are not learning it. And then when you say that, okay, you have to learn Marathi, you start with I, U, and that is, it takes 6 months for children to learn that much of Marathi. And then the problem is you're only writing the language. A से आवळा, म्हणजे आपासून आवळा. तर आता आवळा is a gooseberry, So gooseberry, people there have not even seen. Right? You talk about Australia or in America, I don't know if there are people, whatever. So it's a tropical fruit generally. So people have not even seen. Then how do they really say, okay, आपासून आवळा? And what they really want to do is speak when they speak to their ajis and azobas here back in Pune.
Right.
Tumhi kashe ahat. So it is very difficult to form this sentence if you look at it from a non-Marathi perspective. So I was brought up in Tamil Nadu. So I have not really learned Marathi in school. And all my aunts used to gift me Marathi joke books and all of that, when they used to come to Kothekar, so that they wanted me to start reading Marathi and do a lot more in Marathi as such. And then at that point I was a little like, this is too difficult for me. I could read everything because I was very good at Hindi and all of that, but around me I didn't have that environment. So these children in the US or UK or Australia don't have that environment. How do you expect them to make long sentences?
Correct.
Secondly, my daughter, who's 6-year-old, in Pune, she speaks so much of English already. That's because of the media that's exposed to her. Second, and plus, we don't use, for example, in Marathi, a table is called a maze. Do we really use that word ever?
Yeah.
A table is called table. Right? Table वर coffee आहे. त्याच्यात table and coffee is an English word.
Already we are using so much English. Yes.
Exactly. So it's fine. The learners don't have to do so much Marathi. They don't have to know the word for avla or ukhad. Ukhad though is beyond. Like, why should you know ukhad? right? आणि मग रंग, मग तांबडा रंग. Who says तांबडा? In Pune also people say लाल at least, you know. But I don't know if, you know, people really use that one. So these textbooks are so old, and that's why I started this Speak Marathi. And yeah, sorry, I didn't answer that question. So yeah, so I started Speak Marathi.
No problem.
That thing for the children. But then I also had a lot of students who are married Maharashtrians. They're non-Maharashtrians, or they are foreigners, like from the UK or the US, or not of Indian origin. And then they learn a lot of Marathi with us. So it's very much fun, and it's absolutely an everyday language that we're doing. And yeah, so that's what. And it's a one-on-one session generally.
I see. Okay.
Not like a group class.
Okay.
Because everybody knows different levels of Marathi.
Correct. So it is difficult to form a batch or bring them together to, you know, learn something typical.
Yes, very right. Okay. So that's where I started Speak Marathi. Then Speak Sanskrit came again because I realized that you know, children are not taking up Sanskrit. Sorry, because it's too grammary. It's too much, say, grammar everywhere, and so. If, like, in this Speak Sanskrit course, children who are 6 or 7 years old can say, I eat varan bhat bhaji poli, dal chawal, or roti sabzi in the afternoon. Like, so they say, okay, I go to the school in the morning, I get up, I brush my teeth, go to the school in the morning, eat my breakfast, whatever, play with my friends. So this is the kind of language they should be able to use. Really, then they get close to the language.
Correct. Day-to-day vocabulary. Yes.
And Speak Hindi is like Speak Marathi, where you're just learning, but in a different. So again, Speak Hindi came because I had a Chinese friend who had come to Pune. I had to guide him around. So I just told him, wherever you want to go, you say, mujhe dash something jana hai.
Okay.
Right? So then he was staying right in front of Sambhaji. So I said, you should say just Sambhaji Park jana hai. Then he said, what's the word for park in Marathi? So in Hindi, I said Udyan. And I said, but the rickshawalas are not going to understand you. You say Sambhaji Park, then they'll take you to the right place.
You're right.
So, and you just have to fill in the blanks many times. Like, mujhe chowmein khana hai, mujhe apple khana hai. You don't really have to. So it's a set pattern sometimes that you can keep. So this is how. So my courses are not very, you know, bookish, but they are as to what the people need to learn as such for the start. Later they can of course go and do Udyan ko kya bolte, Adhyapika ko kya bolte. I mean, teacher ko Adhyapika bolte. That they can go learn themselves. Originally.
Right. Once they get a hang of the language, they can do it.
Yes.
Oh, this is great. I'm sure you have a very strong team to support your vision.
Yes.
So please tell us about them.
It's a beautiful set of people that I have. I've been working with them for all of these 12, 13 years. So many of them are still, you know, working with me. So we have around 20 trainers for Oriental Dialogue. About 8 to 10 for Speak Marathi. About 5 for Speak Sanskrit, and 2-3 for Hindi. So the Hindi one I'm not really marketed as yet. We already have students, but I'm not marketed because I have a few things to do at the back end. So later I'll do it.
Later, yes. Sure. Aditi, were you a language enthusiast since childhood?
Yes. So I used to have these. So I was, like I said, I was brought up in Tamil Nadu. So you know, everywhere it was Tamil. So I have, like, my grandmother and me used to discuss things like, you know, we used to have a rickshawala who used to say, Sikrava. So Sikrava is come fast.
Okay.
And then she said, oh yeah, you know, the Sikrava comes from Shigra and Ba. So, or you have Kaka is crow, and you know, then she's like, oh, that's from Kaga. So we used to keep doing a lot of this, and that's why I sort of started collecting a lot of words, and then I learned Tamil very fast when I was like I was a child, so with all my friends and everything I used to learn. And then I was staying in this locality which was Malayali dominated.
Okay.
So they were from the Palakkad side, so that Malayalam was a little slower than the rest of the Malayalam. So I had another friend who was from a place called Kannur. So her Malayalam is super fast. Like I can't even match up to that. My mouth also doesn't, go with that.
So fast.
Yes. So then so that's when then I had a set of Gujarati friends, and then so I love languages as such. So yeah.
Oh, great. And you already know the East Asian languages now, Japanese.
No, I speak Mandarin only. Japanese and Korean are on my list. Like I know, see with Japanese it's really easy right now because with Mandarin I know all the characters. So for Japanese it's really easy. I can just understand what's written, if it's written in
what's going on.
Character.
Okay.
And proper words I have to still learn. I'm just overhearing and a few words here and there.
I see. Nice. During this decade, do you think the language learning and language teaching has changed with the onset of technology?
Yes, a lot. And it's made it very easy also. So, actually, you know what? We started teaching online before the COVID came struck. So 2 years ago, we had this office, like we had this classroom at Shivaji Nagar, right? So a lot of people used to come there, and then we had people from Ahmednagar, Aurangabad, Nashik who used to come only for the weekends to learn the language.
Okay.
And sometimes, a couple of times so happened that the teacher just fell unwell and she didn't come for the class. And then these people had come from Nashik. So then it's, typical. Then we thought, we have to do something. Until then, online teaching had just, it had come, all the technology was there, but people were not accepting it. Then we started, all our material and everything we put online, everything was there. Making the PPTs and, all of these things. So everything was in place. So the day the lockdown was announced, before that, I just told everybody, please go, we'll have our classes online only from now, don't come to the class. That time people had a problem, they said, we opted for offline. But they said, no coming to class. And because we used to have a lot of people coming to China also at that time. So they would just travel. So people would travel twice a month to China. So what if there was, so then that time we thought, but this has made it so easy that we have people from everywhere joining us now. And, we have people from Singapore or people so working in different time zones also. They study with us and it's become very easy. Plus the video qualities have increased. You have so much. I ask all my students to go to YouTube and check these walkthroughs because you get the feel of the place.
Yes.
How really China is, how really Japan is. Some people ask me, ma'am, how to choose which language to take. So I say, go through the walkthrough videos, see different cities, and then you tell me which city fascinates you more, and then come to learn that language. Because that's going to take you long term. That language.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow, the technology is touching a lot of aspects of the language also.
Yes.
Right. What, according to you, Aditi, is the importance of learning a language or languages?
It really opens you up so much and then gives you a lot of confidence. So otherwise, you're still in the same place, same time, and it's just a different dimension to your own self. Of course, you never start thinking in a foreign language. Very frankly, it doesn't happen. I don't think it happens when you're staying in Pune and learning a foreign language. You don't start thinking in another foreign language, but at least how do you say this in this language? Or we used to do a lot of Hindi song translations to other languages. And then we used to realize that, you can't translate this because this emotion only doesn't exist in that language. Then what emotion exists? So, we used to do, in class also we used to do this thing where people used to translate. So someone just said, the easiest one was a lot of students would take it, ki blue hai pani, pani, pani. That was the easiest one to translate that song because, it's just repetition. But we do a lot of this. or otherwise we do these Korean drama things where the drama is going on and the students are doing mimicking the dialogues.
Okay.
So what happens is the speed also increases, and so basically they know how to really speak. And language learning somewhere down the line is mugging up. But you have to mug up phrases. Only then you sound fluent.
Correct.
So yeah.
Yes, a lot of interesting things going on in the language class.
Yeah.
So generally, when people learn languages, they do a lot of things like teaching, translating, interpreting, or dubbing or voiceover and all. So you have taken to teaching, I think.
Yes.
So are you also doing translation or any other activities?
No, I don't. I mean, I did at the start, but then I was more into this. My brain works more of, okay, how do I present this topic? It's not about. I did a few interpretations. I mean, one interpretation which I really enjoyed was when a Chinese cook had come to Weston. So he was making these pulled noodles. So they hand pulled noodles. So then a lot of there were a lot of celebrities who had come, and then you had to sort of translate to them what he was trying to say, and it was fun. That was a lot of fun. So I got to go behind the kitchen and everything. That's a good part of the interpretation where you get to gone to another company. So then you work on the floor and all that. It's like it feels like a different job. So that's fun. But otherwise, I didn't do too many of them.
Okay, you got engrossed in the teaching.
Yes.
Wow, that is great. And which other activities do you plan to take up? Which other languages?
As in to teach or to learn?
Both.
To learn, I want to learn Dutch. That's going to be next on my. I mean, of course, now I have to finish with Japanese and Korean first. At least basic Dutch was there. But otherwise, I want to learn Dutch.
Okay.
So that, and teaching. Maybe yes again. Italian and German and French I need to now settle down properly. Okay. And then look forward to the other ones.
Nice. Great. It was lovely talking to you.
Same here. It was
Aditi. Yes. And I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
For all your ventures.
Thank you so much. Yes.